We had it up and running a few months. They're paying on time. I'm like, this is addicting. You know, when you don't have to do anything and money just shows up in your mailbox, I'm like, all right, this is something that I like and I'm interested in. And so what I did, I was like, let's do another one.
Okay.
I was like, let's do another one.
You're listening to the We Love Equity Real Estate Show, a podcast that discusses the intricacies of real estate investing with your host, Marcus E. Maloney. Marcus is a real estate investor best known for being the equity king. He's been awarded that moniker because he and his team find amazing real estate deals. He will be talking with investors who have done some transformational things in the real estate industry. They'll discuss their process, their strategies, and how their investments transform their lives and the communities they invest in. We welcome you to the We Love Equity Real Estate Show.
The We Love Equity Show is brought to you by ASREA, widely recognized as an outstanding resource for real estate investors with exceptional education, networking, and support, along with profit-enhancing benefits in all aspects of real estate investing. Visit ASREA at www.asrea.org. That's visit ASREA at www.azreia.org. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? We Love Equity Real Estate family. How are you guys doing today? I want to bring to you a very special guest. He made a bold transition from one coast to the next coast, from one occupation and industry to another. And before we get into his story, I just really want you guys to really sit down, pay attention, listen, because he has some very inspirational things that he wants to share with you guys on today. So today I have none other than Jason Griggs on the show. How you doing, Jason? Welcome to the show.
Marcus, thanks for having me on. I'm doing awesome, man.
Great, man. So give us your backstory. We don't want to jump right into real estate. We want to get to know who Jason is and how you then transitioned into real estate. So what did you do prior to real estate?
So I went to college and my parents were both teachers and they kind of pushed me into being a teacher profession. And my whole life, that's kind of what I was pushed to. It was kind of tattooed in my brain, be a teacher, get summers off. It's the best job in the world type deal. And so that's what I did. I went to college and I got a teaching degree. I got a master's degree and I just didn't love it. I just thought that there was something bigger. I have a little bit of an entrepreneurial mindset. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not loving the teaching, but let me try it before I do something else. So I moved to Vegas and I was 21, 22 at the time, moved by myself. I had one friend out here who I was coming to visit and I got a teaching job and I just didn't love it. Like it's a difficult job to do every single day. And I was teaching elementary school kids.
So let me ask you this real quick. Making that transition from New York to Vegas, that was one shock. But then how did your parents accept, you packing up and moving?
Well, they've always known I'll do things that are different. And so they were very supportive. And I just went on my own. I did it. Best thing I ever did. And I actually ended up moving a lot of my friends from New York out here too, because I love it so much. But people ask me that a lot. They're like, was that really difficult for you? And it really wasn't. I just packed a bag and let's go, let's roll with it.
Just moved out, huh?
And moved out and I got a job right away being a teacher. And throughout the first year of it, I wasn't really loving it, but I loved the city that I was living in. So I just sucked it up. And I was like, you know what, I'll do this job so I could live here. And then
so let me ask you this. What grade was you teaching, man? Because you got to have some patience to teach elementary.
Yeah, I was teaching kindergarten through 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So it's a different type of job. It's kind of like you're a babysitter, right? And you're trying to teach and the school that I was at wasn't the best school. It wasn't in the best area. I had no clue because I just moved there and I just took any job that I could get.
Right.
And so as I got settled in, I realized I just didn't want to teach anymore. And I went a different path.
Okay. So how long did you teach? Was that for 3 years?
1 year.
1 year.
I
Okay.
retired after 1 year.
Those kids must have did a work on you, man.
Yeah, it's just it was a lot of things, but I'll be honest with you, the pay wasn't very good.
Right.
It was
right.
not good at all, and I just wanted a better life for myself.
And that's a huge responsibility, to take care of, 30 to 40 kids in the classroom and making, $30,000 a year. That's really not, what you're signing up for. So
No.
so tell us about this transition. So you did that for a year. You're in a new state. You're halfway across you're all the way across the country from New York. Why real estate? Why did you decide to go into that industry?
So I'm a big advocate. I coach lacrosse,
Okay.
and I was coaching lacrosse. I found a community here in Henderson. I was coaching, and one of the parents, the network is your net worth. And a lot of the parents were helping me kind of get settled in and established, and they were giving me jobs at the hotel. And I was working at one of the biggest nightclubs in the world.
Okay.
And then one of the parents gave me an opportunity to learn real estate. And he was like, I think you would be really good at this. You have a good personality. You're very driven. Why don't you come in and we'll talk about it? And he was like, I don't have any type of meetings about this until you go and get your real estate license.
Yep.
Because
yep.
that's a big step. And if you take that step to actually do it, that means you're serious.
Yeah, you're committed.
And so I did it. It took me a few tries, but I got it done.
Okay.
I got my license, and then the rest is history. I was given a great opportunity. Henderson and Vegas at the time wasn't what it is today. It wasn't, we call it like a big boy real estate market now.
So
now it is.
How long ago was that, Jason? What year was
that? 7
7
years ago, I got my license.
So that was what, 2000, let's do the math, 7 years ago, 2016? Okay.
2016.
So 2016. Gotcha. All right. In Henderson. And for those that know the Vegas market, Henderson isn't that like the largest suburb outside of
Yeah,
Vegas?
it's the southern part of the city. So it's about 15 minutes away from the Strip. It's a great area. I love living here. And I feel like I hit the jackpot because it was popular, but now it became really popular. And the real estate market really exploded. So I got in at like the perfect time.
Okay. So 2016, you got your license. So was that parent, was he or she a broker?
Yes. And still my broker.
Okay.
My broker, Tim Cups with Remax. He's awesome. And he really gave me a shot, and I had no clue what I was doing, but I came and I listened to him exactly what he told me to do. And then one day.
So hold on, Jason, because a lot of people, they always say, should I or shouldn't I get my license? I'm a licensee as well. I always encourage people, look, if you want to take the industry seriously, you should get your license. That way you can have multiple avenues to do things and you come across deals. So let me ask you this. So when you first got started with Remax, what was the first thing that broker had you to do, once you got your license and you signed up with that brokerage?
So I agree with you, Marcus, that everybody should get their license, because it just makes you're like, all being a realtor is like having a strong presence. And if you have a strong presence, and then people will take you seriously. So they're like, okay, Jason Griggs, he does real estate. That's what people think when they see me. He's the real estate guy. And so what Tim made me do was just tell as many people that I knew, and I had a big network. I built up a big network, not only in New York, but here, that I'm in real estate. And that's what I did. I just told everybody I'm doing real estate.
That's perfect. That's perfect, because that's what I tell a lot of people that's getting started. I say, even on the investment side of it, I always tell them is let people know exactly what you're doing. A lot of people want to be closet investors, quiet investors, you know, they feel, well, I haven't done a deal or I haven't closed a transaction. How can I truly call myself a real estate investor? I mean, before I even closed my first deal, you know, I was telling people, hey, I'm a real estate investor. I'm a real estate investor. So, I mean, that was great information that your broker told you to do, is just get out there and let people know. That way you can expand that network. So you guys that's listening, get out there and let people know exactly what you're doing. So sorry about that rant there, Jason.
No, you nailed it. Like, if people, there's too many secret agents out there, we call them, right? Because they're in the business, but they're like nervous, or they just don't want to like kind of portray that they're doing it if they fail at it. But I don't care about that. So I just went all in on it. My broker was great because he just threw me in the ocean. He was just like, so he trained me. He trained me how to do a transaction. He trained me how to look for deals. He trained me how to deal with clients, but he never gave me any clients.
Yep.
You know, he never gave me anything. So I had to work for it. And, you know, he helped me along the way. One of the best things that he did with me was we did a flip project together.
Okay.
And so he found a property, a little condo. It was beat up and needed to be reworked. And he was like, look, I want you to partner with me on this so you can learn how to do it.
Excellent.
And so
Excellent.
I did that early in my career. And I was like, the light bulb went off where we profited 50 grand each. It was a nice deal. And I was like, whoa, like I just made my entire salary as a teacher just on this one flip. And it took 2 months and it was easy. And I was like, all right, I got to start doing more of these things. And so he took me through that process of how to do it, what to look for, how to deal with the contractors, all those things. And then the light bulb went off where I was like, all right, I'm an agent, but I'm going to go the route of being an investor also.
Okay, perfect. So we got a few things there we need to unpack. One of the things that I really want to drive home is Tim wouldn't have never decided to work with you, for one, if you wouldn't have shown that initiative to go out there and get the license. So he said, Jason, this is step one. This is what you need to do. You said, okay, step one, you went and did it, box checked. We're good. Yep. Step two, and what he was essentially doing was grooming you as a mentee, as an agent. So now you're going into deals that you wouldn't have never been involved in, which you wouldn't have never known how to look for those deals. But he see that you have that initiative to get out there and take action. So he was like, let me bring you in on this deal, get you some firm footing, a firm foundation in this investor space, and then you can make the decision from there. So, I mean, really is kudos to you, Jason, for you being that assertive and aggressive, for getting out there, taking action.
Yeah, that's how I am, Marcus. Like I take action. Like, you have to get in the pool to swim. I say that all the time, but it's so true. It's one of my favorite lines and analogies. Like, you can't do anything unless you actually go do it.
True.
Like, you can't be, my broker Tim's line is, you can't do anything from the sidelines. You got to be in the game. And so I'm so glad he did that. And it's funny because now people reach out to me about wanting to get into real estate. And I do the same thing he did to me. Go get your license so we could have a conversation. And it's funny because I'm like, oh, for like 12 or 11. Like, people they just won't take that extra step. They won't take a step back from their job, maybe taking a few nights off work to go get this license so they could better their lives further. And I'm like, look, I can't help you unless you get this thing. Like, I can't do real estate with you until you have a license. And so they're like, well, Jason, why don't you just go bring me deals? I'm like, that's not the way it works, man.
Right.
That's not the way this works. I'm not doing all the work and just giving you a part of it because we're friends or whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, this industry's tough, you know. It's not easy. It's not guaranteed. Like, you get what you put in. And so the more time and effort you put into it, the more money you'll make.
There you go. So, and I mean, you being 0 for 12, I mean, it's letting you know who to do business with and who not to do business with, because, you know, if they're not willing to take that first step that you tell them, they're not going to take the next step and the next step. So they're essentially trying to cheat the system. And I'll give you an example. I have a very, very close friend. I mean, my best friend, and I've been doing real estate, you know, since 2009, 08, something like that. And I've been telling them, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. I moved from the Midwest out here to Phoenix. So we're next door neighbors.
Yep.
And I was telling them, I said, hey, you know what? You want to do something, just go and get your license. I'm flipping properties. I'm doing all of this stuff. Go and get your license. I'll give you the properties that I flip as listings, so it's, again, that mentor-mentee relationship. So it's been a few years. He's still studying, still waiting to take the test. I said, dude, just stop studying, man, and just go and take it. Yeah, just go and take the test. So yeah, just wanted to jump in there, guys. So you guys that's listening, if someone is doing what you want to do, just listen to them and just go out there and take that action.
Yeah, I always say the answer to the test is B, and you're doing C, A, D, E. You're all over the place. Like, just listen. Like, here's the answer. If you want to make money, this is in my opinion, it's the best industry to make money in. It's probably the easiest way too, where you're learning how to buy real estate, and it's going up without you having to do any work.
Yeah.
And people just don't get it.
So yeah, I know some people just don't get it. They're on the sidelines for some reason, but like you said, some people just don't want to get in the game. They just rather be spectators.
Well, it's so true. It's so true, and it's frustrating. But you could lead the horse to water. You can't make him drink.
That's right. So Jason, tell me. All right, let's kind of dig into this first flip that you guys did on this condo. Do you know how your broker found that deal?
It was an off-market deal from a wholesaler. I had no clue what a wholesaler was. I didn't really understand the wholesaler off-market stuff till later on. But anyway, he just got this deal, and we went and walked it together. And he was like, look, showing me the comps. Like, these comps are in the 170 range, 180 range. So he's like, look, we're gonna buy this, and then we're gonna get it contracted out. We're gonna interview contractors and get bids, and they're gonna do the work and fix it up, and then we're gonna put it on the market. And it really hit me. I'm like, okay, like I see why having your license is important, because now when we list this property, we're saving 2.5%, 3% of the realtor fees if we gave it to somebody else. So it all just clicked for me. I was like, okay, this is the game. Buying rentals and flipping some houses to buy more rentals. And I just never stopped. From the first year I bought my first rental, I did flip, and
wait. You're going too fast, Jason. You're
going
too fast.
I'm a New Yorker. I like to go.
I know, fast pace. So that first deal, okay, what all did you have to do with that deal?
It was just, we did paint, we did some new cabinets. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo.
Okay, so nothing much. You just had to
nothing crazy. No.
Pop in every now and then, make sure that the contractor was actually doing the work. Correct. Simple enough. Speak to the audience in regards to that telltale stigma that realtors don't like wholesalers.
Yeah, that's false. I love wholesalers.
Okay. All right. That's great. Because a lot of people, they figure, well, I'm a realtor, I don't like wholesalers, or wholesalers don't want to work with realtors. As a wholesaler and as a realtor, because I do both, realtors have the biggest audience. So why wouldn't you want to put your deals in front of realtors? Yeah, you may have to pay them a little something on top, but still you're getting your deal in front of much more eyes. And not only that, realtors will then sometimes come to you and say, hey, you know what? I got this client that needs to sell this house, but it's pretty beat up. We don't want to put it on the market. Do you know of a buyer that will want to, entertain this opportunity? So
I couldn't agree more with you. I've done a lot of business with wholesalers. People have wholesaled me amazing deals, and I just kept them. And I look back and I'm like, why would you sell this to me? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But that's the game they're in. And if I didn't have access to wholesalers, I would not have half the portfolio that I have.
There you go. So you said everything clicked, Jason, in regards to, having your license and doing deals and being on that investor side of it. Tell us about when you made that transition to really start looking at building that portfolio. What was it that made you start looking into that?
It was my cousin Joe. My cousin Joe invested in real estate his whole life, and he was he was kind of the one who gave me the idea about getting my license, because in
Okay.
New York, real estate is crazy expensive.
Yep.
And so he was like, okay, now you got your license, go try and find us a rental property to buy. And he was
Okay.
really the one who drove me to rental properties.
So Joe was in New York.
Joe's in New York. Yep.
You're in Vegas.
I'm in Vegas.
Okay. I
We're
get it.
very close. And he was a big supporter of me going out there at the time. And but yeah, so he told me, go find a rental property that we could buy, rent it out. And his whole system is based on schools. So
Okay.
find the best public school in the area that everyone wants to go to. We're going to buy a house near that school, and we're going to rent it to somebody who wants their kid to go to that school.
There you
And
go.
he nailed it. That was exactly what we did. We still own that house. It's worth 3 times. We bought it
Yep.
for 250. It's worth almost 700,000.
Wow.
And we just rent it. It's nothing crazy. We didn't do anything to the house. We bought it and we rented it.
See, and I like Joe already because Joe is smart. He's like, hey, you know what? My money will go a lot further in Vegas than in New York.
Yep.
Taxes are a lot cheaper in Vegas than it is in New York.
You nailed it.
You know, so, and then you can easily get a renter in Vegas, probably a little bit easier than New York, you know, without all of the hassles. I mean, New York is more land tenant friendly than Vegas. So it's easier to evict somebody in Vegas than it is in New York.
Yes.
So Joe was looking at, hey, guess what? There's a key word called virtual deals. So he was doing virtual deals basically with you, Jason, and really expanding his footprint into the Vegas market.
You nailed it. That's exactly what we did. And I think my advice to people who want to invest in real estate, I think they're kind of like their tunnel visioned in is that they have to invest where they live.
Yep.
And you don't have to do that. You don't have to invest. Like I invest all across the country now, and that's the game of finding the best deals that where you could put your money and make it go as far as possible. I do recommend the first few you do that you do it in your market so you could sit and manage it correctly.
Yep.
And if there's any issues, but once you get over that fear of running the rental, you could do it anywhere.
True. With the right systems, you can own a property in Vegas and live in New York, or you can own a property in Hawaii and live in Colorado. It doesn't matter as long as you have the systems in place. And that's key what you said, Jason. Learn the foundation, you know, in your own backyard. That way, if you make mistakes, hey, you know the area versus if you're going somewhere remote and you don't know the area. So,
Exactly.
I mean, that's good advice. Excellent advice. There was something else that you said also. You said you bought the property and you guys did nothing to it. You just rented it out. So it's nothing sexy about it. Nothing, you know, you didn't go in there, knock down walls and redo the flooring and everything like that. You said, hey, find a good property in a nice school district in a nice community and we rent it out.
That's exactly what we did.
Simple enough. A lot of people look for the glitz and glamour. I want to fix and flip and I want to wholesale and I want to do all of this kind of stuff. But actually, the wholesalers and fix and flippers, they get into real estate so they can own assets, so they can own rentals. So
yep, you nailed it. And that's exactly what I did. It's so funny because like when I first met all these wholesalers, they were making big money, right? And now they're kind of out of business. And I'm like, if you would have just kept 5 of your best properties per year, you could have been retired by now.
Mhm.
But they just didn't understand the business of, they wanted that quick, easy money, and it kind of burned them.
Yeah. And you know what, you speak into my heart because whenever I hear that, I think of one property in particular that I wholesaled and I'm like, man, I wish I wouldn't have never let that thing go. You know, so yes, guys, sometimes you need to hold on to some of those assets and figure it out. Just, you know, if you're wholesaling or if you're fixing and flipping, you figured out how to find a deal. You figured out, you know, how to find an end buyer. Just figure out where to get the financing from to hold that property long term.
Yep, that's the game.
Yeah,
That's all it is. It's a long-term play, and I'm a big sports guy, and I use the analogy of you're trying to hit a base hit as often as possible. And once in a while, you'll hit a home run. I've hit home runs, and I've struck out. But you want to try and I've hit a lot of singles along the way, and it's been really good.
And those singles are the ones that get you around the bases and get you home and put runs on the board.
Yep.
So let's take a brief break. We'll hear a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back with Jason. And Jason, when we come back, we want to talk about that transition into short-term rentals.
Let's do it.
PropStream is the industry's #1 tool for locating distressed properties and connecting with highly motivated sellers. With 100% coverage across the U.S., PropStream provides a deep dive into any property's specific details, making it easy to generate lists of distressed properties and contact to the owners. No other product or service can compare. Gain access to MLS property details like expired listings. You can pull accurate comps, even sale prices in non-disclosure states. This information is typically reserved for licensed real estate professionals, but is also available to you in PropStream. Gain access to unlimited nationwide property search, comparable home sales, targeted marketing lists, and owner contact lookup, built-in marketing tools, hundreds of filters to search and sort leads. Start your free 7-day trial now by going to proud.propstreampro.com/weloveequity. Are you tired of seeing others becoming successful real estate investors and you just don't know where to start? You see all the Instagram posts of others being successful. You see the Facebook ads guaranteeing instant success. You look at tons of YouTube videos and you even attend seminars just to be tricked into $10, $20, or even $30,000 courses. Well, with the Deal Finders Club, my husband is here to change things for you. Have you said to yourself, I'm deadly afraid to talk to sellers and I have no confidence. I don't know where to find motivated sellers. I don't know where to get a contract from. I don't know how much to offer the seller, let alone where I'm going to get the money from to close the deal. Well, in the Deal Finders Club, Marcus and his partner Mike are going to show you how to overcome all those challenges and more. Find out how by going to azdfc.com. That's azdfc.com. We'll see you inside.
All right, guys, we are back with Jason Griggs, who hails out of Las Vegas, Nevada. So, Jason, you bought that first rental, and if I'm not mistaken, you own 22 rentals now, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so after that first rental, did you and Joe just continue to just start buying? How did that happen?
Yeah, so that light bulb moment with the flip, it happened with the rental property. And so I was like, this is so easy. Like, we had it up and running a few months. They're paying on time. I'm like, this is addicting. You know, when you don't have to do anything and money just shows up in your mailbox, I'm like, all right, this is something that I like and I'm interested in. And so what I did, I was like, let's do another one.
Okay.
I was like, let's do another one. But I needed to save money. I didn't just have all this money, right? So I kind of I still abide by this, where every time I save $25,000 through being an agent or doing whatever, I will then take that money and try to invest it into a rental property.
Okay.
And I will try to do that as many times as I possibly can.
All right. Sounds good. So you just use your transactional money from your active money from being an agent, your commissions, save it, and then convert it over into a rental, which is now passive income, which is taxed differently. So really you're making money with your money and saving money with that same pot of cash. So very smart.
That's exactly what I did.
Okay. And I know this is because this is the same thing that I do. So, you know, we're birds of a feather flock together. That's exactly what I do.
Love it. I love it.
So how did you had the systems in place, you were doing the traditional rentals, have your cash flow coming in, got your mailbox money coming in. What made you decide to transition into short-term rentals?
So I was shown by somebody in my brokerage that they were managing short-term rentals, and he knew that I loved long-term rentals. And he's like, dude, I got to show you this because these are just better returns. They're more work and they're more expensive, but they're really good returns. And so he showed it to me and I just got hooked on it. And I just was like, all right, I got to build out the best Airbnb short-term rentals I possibly can. And that's where we started.
Okay. So I'm a firm believer in how-tos,
Yep.
that way people listening, they'll know how to get started. So he showed you that. What did you do? Did you convert one of your long-term rentals into a short-term rental, or you specifically went out looking for a deal that you can purchase and convert into a short-term rental?
Great question. I didn't convert any of mine. I just went out and bought one
Okay.
just to try it. It worked out. Did another
So,
one, and I just scaled it from there.
so what was trying it? What did you have to do? Because I know you had somebody in your brokerage that was showing you this. Did you?
I had to go. He showed me the systems that he built out of what works, what doesn't work. And he set up a single story with a pool in this area. 4 bedrooms will work. And
Okay.
he's like, you got to remodel it and furnish it. And so we dove right in. I bought one. I partnered with somebody and we rebuilt it and we furnished it and we put it on the website for Airbnb, VRBO, and it turned out to work really well.
Okay. So how did you find your partner that was partnering with you on this?
My partner is my best friend,
Okay.
and we were next door neighbors in New York.
Gotcha.
So we've known each other since kindergarten, and we moved out here to Vegas together.
Okay.
And he got into real estate too, and we partner on a lot of projects together. And so it was shown to us how this business works. It's more of a business. It's not a rental property.
Yep.
You have to treat each house like its own business. And then we just dove in. We just kind of learn along the way of what works, what doesn't work. We overspend here. We put too much fancy furniture in here. And the cool part about this business is it's always changing.
Yep.
So just because you start it doesn't mean it's not going to work.
One thing that I like about what you're saying, Jason, is because you're not hindered, or you're not so conservative to where you say, you know what, my long-term rentals are going good. I like this. Yeah, you showing me something new, short-term rentals, because short-term rentals, just happen to be the fad. And you said, you know what, let's get into it. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. I know somebody that's managing these. So I got somebody that I can talk to, pick their brain a little bit. And then you and your partner, you guys just jumped out there and did it. So again, a person that takes massive action. So guys, you're listening to this. One thing that we're constantly saying is just get out there, take the action. Don't be afraid to make the mistakes, because you're going to learn from those mistakes along the way anyway. It's better to learn the mistakes while doing versus just trying to study, not to make the mistakes.
Exactly. You nailed it.
Yep. Okay. So you got that first one up and going, right? And it's good for Henderson, Las Vegas, because that's a resort town. So you got the transactions going in and out. How did you find the housekeeper or the cleaning company for the turnovers?
So the guy who got me into it, Sean, he had everything built out. He had all the systems built out to manage it. And so I allow him to manage my properties and we work together. And that's the hardest part about the business with short-term rentals is it's easy to set it up, but then the hardest part is to keep it running and not have people break your stuff and replacing it in time and get the cleaners there on time, making sure the house is functional, because every group's different. And it's just like running a baby hotel. You got to give them a 5-star experience. And so Sean was the main factor. I was like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I have to lean on him because he's been doing this a while and he knows how to do it. And so I kind of had like a little bit of a head start of how to set it up, and he helped me through the process. And now we work together and just try and buy as many as we can.
So again, it goes back to the power of your network. You leverage your relationships, you leverage your network to say, okay, I don't know how to do this, but I know Sean knows how to do this. Let me hire him to manage these properties. And he already had the systems in place. Why do I need to rebuild something that he already has built and has shown success at it? So man, again, smart, strategic movements and relationships really put you ahead of everyone else.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and I think you nailed it too. Sometimes you just forget that like your network is so important, but it is
Yep.
every day. It's like I'm helping him, right? I'm helping him because he showed me how to do this, and then I went out and bought 7, 8 of them. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
making him money because he
Yep.
showed me how to do this. Now I told everybody in my network, he's the guy who manages them,
Exactly.
and now he gets more business. So it's just a win-win for everybody. It's great.
There you go. And that's really what any business or any industry is all about. It's about building those trusted colleagues that you can offer something to them, they'll then return offer something back to you, and you have that symbiotic relationship to where now it's a win-win for everybody. Like you said, he's getting more management opportunities, you're buying more properties, you're referring him to more people, which is giving him more business, so on and so forth, and it just works out that way. So how are you finding these properties, these short-term rentals? Was it through your network again, through wholesalers and just
Yeah,
opportunities on MLS?
both. I found some deals through the MLS, and then I found some from wholesalers. But two of the ones that I have were other investors that were wholesalers, and they wanted to partner with me. They had the house under contract, and they were like, "Do you think this house would make a good short-term rental?" I'm like, "Yeah, it actually would." And so
Okay.
they're like, "Let's partner." And so I partnered with two of the biggest construction guys in Vegas, Andre Laska and Tyler Hubbs, and we built, in my opinion, what some of the biggest, baddest Airbnb properties in the country.
Wow. Okay. So let me ask you this, Jason. If somebody's looking to get into Airbnbs, okay, yes, they may not be in the Vegas market where you got hundreds of thousands of people, or let's just say millions of people coming in, every day. What should you look for in establishing a good short-term rental?
Okay, so you got to test the market. You need to
Okay.
make sure that the market is first, if it's allowed there. There's a lot of markets where
Yep.
it's not allowed, and then there's markets like Arizona where there's no rules.
Yep.
So you want to make sure that there's a demand, but not too much of a demand, because some of these
Okay.
beach towns, they're oversaturated. So you need to, that's your first step. And so what I do is I'm teaching investors across the country how to look for these things, how to test the
Okay.
markets. There's websites like AirDNA that's very popular,
Okay.
and those websites will allow you to run comps on different Airbnbs in the area, how much they're making. So before you go and buy a house and test it, you can kind of see the data and kind of see the numbers will it support, because not every short-term rental will work.
Gotcha.
And so
Okay.
that's kind of what I'm doing now is I'm teaching other investors. And it kind of flowed more into real estate agents, to be honest with you. Like I have more people that I'm teaching that are real estate agents than
Okay.
investors.
Wow. All right. Sounds good. So if I was, in Denver, let's just say, for example, what should I look for? So I know you said go to airdna.com, see
Yep.
if it'll work in that market. And then should it be townhome, condo, single family home? Should I have a pool? Shouldn't I have a pool? What are some of the amenities that you really look for that are good sellers?
So every market's different. And
Okay.
so you just touched on Denver, Colorado. So Denver, Colorado, it's cold a
Yep.
lot, but it's a
Yep.
huge ski town, huge ski and snowboard town, right? So that's different than the market I'm in.
Yep.
So the seasons are different. So you gotta say, all right, is it a seasonal thing? Because if it's a seasonal thing, then the winter it'll make more money than the spring, so forth. So let's just use my territory that I'm in, because it'll just be easier for me to explain it.
Okay.
In Henderson, it's hot out 9-10 months out of the year. So when people come here, they want a pool.
Yep.
A lot of people come and they don't have a pool in their house, or they're coming for wherever. They may be coming from a colder location. So having a pool is super, super important with a nice backyard.
Okay.
That's what I found in my market does really well.
Okay. So outdoor space,
Yep.
like you said, because it's, similar to Phoenix, it's hella hot, 10 months out of the year, and people want to come in February or March and they want to be able to be outside and jump in a pool if needed. Okay. So you have those amenities. As far as how important, and I'm just throwing some things at you, Jason. How important is like the furniture? You know, should it be top-notch furniture, you know, or IKEA? Kind of what should people look as far as furnishings?
So that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see. People put brand new furniture in their properties and it looks sweet on the pictures, but after 4 or 5 guests, that brand new furniture quickly gets ruined. So you got to find like a
Wow.
happy medium of something that's not too crappy and
Okay.
it's not going to break in 2 seconds versus something that's going to hold up, but it's not too expensive.
Gotcha. Okay. And then do you find that furniture on, I don't know, OfferUp, Facebook
Yeah,
Marketplace?
we do that a
Okay.
lot. We do a Facebook Marketplace a lot. It's a huge game changer for us where you're buying stuff half off, sometimes 75% off. So yeah, so we
Gotcha.
definitely used Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, all those things.
Okay. And then last question for you in regards to furnishings. So now, do you buy furniture per unit, or do you have like a small little inventory space where you have extra furniture, or how does that work?
So we just buy per property. So we're in escrow. We're gonna buy this. We start game planning for this property. We don't go buy 6 beds and just hang on to them.
Gotcha.
We have our set. We buy for that house. We set it up, and then we wait for the next one.
Okay. So guys, you're listening to Jason Griggs, Airbnb specialist out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He gave us some very, very strong tips on today. Kind of wrapping up, Jason. What do you believe every high producing real estate agent, real estate investor, what's some characteristics you believe that they need to have?
I think consistency is a good one. You have to just show up, and you have to be consistently thinking about it and consistently going to work and consistently learning. So that's probably my favorite one. And I'm a big sports guy, played sports, and it's very similar to sports where if you're a golfer and you don't consistently work on your game, you're not going to get better at it. You
Okay.
can't stop playing. And so that it's the same thing with real estate.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this: Jets, Giants, or Raiders?
I'm a Cowboys fan, man.
Oh
I'm a Cowboys fan. Yep.
no. You hurt
It's
my heart.
I'll tell you, man, it is not fun being I just had a son and I'm like, I can't even buy this guy like a Cowboy shirt because it's just like I can't do it to him. It's just not fun being a Cowboys fan. So, but I have Raiders season tickets and I love
Okay.
going to the Raiders games. I think it's awesome what they're doing. I love watching Derek Carr and all those guys, Max Crosby. They're so good, and so what they've done for the town. I have become a Golden Knights fan. I have
Okay.
season tickets
Okay.
to that. I love supporting them. It's a lot of fun.
So how did you, and this is completely off topic, how did you live in New York but become a Dallas Cowboys fan? Is it
Yeah,
just because of the rivalry and you just wanted to be different than everybody else,
no,
or?
my dad was a Cowboys fan, and it
Oh,
just passed
okay.
down, man. I didn't have a choice.
Genealogy, huh? Blame it
That's
on
it.
dad.
Yep. And so it was fun when I was a kid, man. We were good when I was a kid in the
Yeah.
90s. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, I was texting my brother at halftime. I'm like, it's over. Like, I don't even, it's like my hopes were like for a little bit. And then I'm like, I don't know what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then especially with the injury, it's like, okay, where do we go from here?
Exactly.
All right. So in parting, Jason, thank you again for being on the show. We really appreciate it. We put you on a hot seat, gave you some hot seat questions. In parting, what are some words of encouragement that you can give those that are looking to get into real estate, or those people that are saying, okay, I need to take this test. I need to take this test so I can get started. Can you give us some words of encouragement?
My best advice is I wanted to change my life and for the better. And, a lot of people, they don't like to talk about money or maybe they're embarrassed about it, but I knew that making good income would lead me to more opportunities in a positive way. And so if you want a better life for yourself, if you want better life for your family, real estate is an amazing platform to not only just help people, because I've created connections where now I'm helping other friends and clients make money to
Mhm.
better their lives too. And so by having this education of I know how to do these things. So that would be my best advice is
Okay.
just to change your life, you need to find whatever you're passionate in, and you could show up and be consistent doing it. It doesn't have to be real estate. It could be anything. But for me, it was, I wanted to better my life. And I saw a great opportunity with real estate to do that.
Okay. So know your why, whatever that why is, find out what it is, and then find a vehicle that can really help satisfy that why. So Jason, thank you so much, man. So for those who want to reach out to you, get in touch with you, how can we find you? What's your social handles? Where are you at?
So Instagram is the best way to connect with me. My Instagram is the letter J, Griggs Real Estate. And then if you want to learn about Airbnb and short-term rentals, my program, it's winwithairbnb.com.
Okay, so winwithairbnb.com. If you're interested in getting started with Airbnbs, you can reach out to Jason, via Instagram. And you know what to do. What Jason said and what he's been doing is get out there and take that action and move along your journey in life. So Jason, Griggs, thank you so much. We really appreciate you having you on the show.
Marcus, thanks, man. And I will see you soon.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Talk to you soon, buddy. Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's show. I picked up some great actionable items, and I'm sure you did as well. If so, let me know. You can always reach me via social media at facebook.com/MRCS Maloney, Twitter at MRCS Maloney, and of course, IG at MRCS Maloney. You can also always reach me via email at mmaloney@equityri.com. Make sure you reach out to our guests as well. You can always find their contact information in the show notes below. If you have not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Join the family. And while you're at it, leave us a 5-star review. This is how we tell if we're providing you with what you need for your journey. If there's someone you would like for me to interview, or if there's a subject matter you would like for me to cover, please let me know. Finally, if you're looking for additional information about real estate investing, go to equityrealestateblog.com. Also, youtube.com/Marcus Maloney. Until next time, family, always enjoy the journey.